Shifting focus to South Africa now, in the run-up to the general election, the African National Congress has been facing multiple crises. First, it was the costly divorce with Jacob Zuma last year. This was followed by dwindling support for the party that has held power since the end of apartheid. Analysts say the ANC's share of vote will fall below 50%. Now, which means it could be forced to form a coalition government. That certainly was not all. Closer to the election, the ANC had been facing a cash crunch. The May 29th general election has been touted as the toughest since Nelson Mandela won power in 1994, which means campaigning for the election needed to be intense. But hiring stadiums for rallies, printing T-shirts and posters, supporting organizational machine on election day, all of it is a very expensive affair. As campaigning entered its final stretch, the ANC managed to go all out and seemed to have put its financial woes behind. How? Well, the reason behind the ANC's changing fortunes could be Russia. In the Kalahari Desert, the United Manganese of Kalahari, or the UMK, a controversial mine with Russian connections, digs up manganese. According to reports, the UMK and some of its shareholders contributed almost half of all declared donations to the ANC since the introduction of disclosure requirements in 2021. The mine's investors include Russian billionaire Viktor Vekselberg, who faces Western sanctions for supporting Vladimir Putin's seizure of Crimea. Also among the investors is a South African consortium dominated by Chancellor House Trust, an ANC funding front named after Nelson Mandela's old law firm offices. The UMK mine has declared almost $500 million in dividends since 2013, but the dividends and assets that piled up could not easily flow to the ANC after 2021. Because of the enactment of a campaign finance law that was intended to keep big money out of politics. The law put a cap on funds being accepted from a single donor and required all parties to disclose all contributions worth more than 100,000 rand. Until the 7th of May, when President Cyril Ramaphosa signed a law that abolished the cap and disclosure of requirements. The law also gave him powers to set new limits. But until he does so, the political parties are free to stuff their coffers in secret. Was the timing of this law a mere coincidence? Or was it time to give Ramaphosa and the ANC unlimited secret donations for the final leg of campaigning? With support at home dwindling, Ramaphosa seems to be looking for support on the outside, in Russia. What is also interesting to note is that South Africa has refused to condemn Putin's war in Ukraine. It had been trying to establish itself as a non-aligned superpower. Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.